Lord Krishnanaman to all the students. Today we'll be beginning the third chapter of Indian economic development, which is features, problems, and policies of agriculture. Actually, second, third, fourth, and fifth chapters are just one chapter in your NCERT book, but in this book, there are four chapters for it to describe it in elaborated form. Okay, so let's just begin the third chapter. Okay, so the first topic of yours is importance of agriculture in the Indian economy. Means how important is agriculture in the Indian economy. Okay, so the first point is contribution to GDP. Okay, so when we talk about agriculture is very important for India because about 60% of our population is still indulged in agricultural activities, and more than 70% of our population lives in villages. Okay, so let's see the contribution of GDP. So contribution in the GDP of agriculture is ranging between 51% to 17.4%. If we talk about in 1950 and 1951, it was about 50%, and today if we talk about 2016-17, it was about 17.4%. We are just talking about the 5-year plans, not after that. Okay, so the last 5-year plan, the contribution of agriculture into GDP was about 17.4%. It doesn't mean that the percentage has come down, because it has come down because the industrial sector and territory sector, that is your service sector, has grown up quite relevantly. Okay, next point of yours is supply of wage goods. Wage goods means the food that we consume daily. Things like rice, wheat, pulses, maize, bajra, oil, seeds, these are the wage goods. These are the basic needs of every Indian, I think. Okay, so let's move to the next point, that is source of employment. If we talk about our population, more than 50% of our population is still indulged in agriculture. Okay, so this is a major source of employment for us. Okay, next is supply of raw material. Raw material is needed in every industry. Means in secondary sector we need raw material, and raw material is provided by primary sector, that is agriculture. Things like cotton for textile industry, seeds for the oil industries, and sugarcane for the sugar mills. And these are the basic or raw materials for industries. Okay, next point of yours is source of demand for the industrial goods. It is the source of demand for the industrial goods like tractors or machines that are used in agriculture. It is a major source of demand for those goods like tractors or some machines that are useful in agriculture. Okay, next point of yours is contribution to the international trade. It is a very relevant thing in international trade. We export many things like coffee, spices, tobacco, cashew nuts. These are the major exports of India. Okay, and some spices are very important for international trade also. Okay, next point is contribution to the domestic trade. Agriculture also plays a significant role in the country's domestic trade. How? Let's just explain it with an example. For the domestic trade, means when we import things from other countries, so we don't need to import things if we are doing good in agriculture, because if we talk about our population is more than 121 crores. So to support this much population, we need agriculture to support this much population. If we don't do agriculture greatly, our population can be dependent on imports only. Okay, and imports can be quite expensive for a country like India. Okay, next point of yours is support to the transport industry. We transport a lot of agriculture goods because we produce a lot of agriculture products. Okay, from like tractors, trucks, or say trains, we transport our agricultural goods. Okay, so it also supports the transport industry. Next point is wealth of the nation. If we talk about agriculture, agriculture plays a huge part in the wealth of the nation. It is the primary income source for the country. Okay. So now let's move on to the features of Indian agriculture. Okay. So what are the features of Indian agriculture? So first point here is low productivity. We are doing very good in agriculture, but if we talk about productivity means production per hectare, means how much we are producing of per hectare land. So you can see there's a chart. If we see rice, India is producing 3.6 tons of output per hectare of land, which is quite low compared to China, which is 6.8, Vietnam, which is 5.8, and world average is 4.5, and we are below the world average. Okay, if we talk about wheat, it is 3.1 and the world average is 3.3. We are also below in wheat. Next is maize, that is bajra. India is 2.6 and the world average is 5.6. We are about half of the world average, which is quite low. Okay, so what does the low productivity means? It means that we are a backward country in terms of using the current machineries or current technologies in agriculture. Next point is disguised unemployment. What does the disguised unemployment means? Disguised word itself means किसी को धोखा देना. Means बाहर से तो दिख रहा है कि लोग एम्प्लॉयड हैं, बट एक्चुअल में वो एम्प्लॉयड नहीं है. ओके, so let's talk about disguised unemployment. If we talk about disguised unemployment, we see a lot of people involved in agricultural sector, but do we need those many people in the agricultural sector? No. If one person can do a job, there are 4 persons doing the same job, and the rest of the 3 persons are part of disguised unemployment. Means they can be utilized in some other sector where their productivity can be useful. Okay, so next point is dependency on rainfall. There are a lot of states where the dependency on rainfall is a lot. Means there are no means of agriculture or very little means of irrigation actually. Okay, so irrigation is not good in a lot of states, so they depend on rainfall a lot. Okay, next is subsistence farming. The perspective of our farmers still like subsistence farming, means they produce goods just to fulfill their needs, their actually their perspective is not commercial. They don't want to sell the products, they actually want to fulfill their needs only. Okay, so this is subsistence farming, means they need to fulfill their needs first, then they think about selling the products. Okay, next is lack of modern inputs. Modern inputs like chemical fertilizers, insecticides, pesticides are not used proficiently, means people doesn't have knowledge about them, and those who have the knowledge are doing quite good. So there are a lot of people who don't know about the chemical fertilizers, or if they have chemical fertilizers, they can't use it properly because of lack of knowledge. Okay, next is small holdings. The land sizes of India's are quite small. Okay, so small land holdings means you can't use many modern technologies in your farms. So let's see it with an example. If we have a field of about 600 square feet, can we use tractor to do the farming there? No, because it is quite small for a tractor. Okay, next is landlord and tenant conflict. Means there are a lot of people who doesn't do farming themselves, they just give it on batai, which is tenant. Means someone else is doing farming for someone else. Okay, so when we see landlords, they charge a lot of rent from those tenants, and it let the tenants with very little surplus, and they can't survive with that little surplus, and they can't use the modern techniques with that little surplus. Okay, next is backward technologies. We are still using old technologies, like for plowing the field we are using oxes, okay, instead of tractors. So we need modern inputs to take our agriculture or the farming forward. Okay. Next topic of yours is problems of Indian agriculture. Okay. So first thing is lack of permanent means of irrigation. We don't have permanent means of irrigation, means there are not enough water for us to irrigate our farms properly. Okay. We are still dependent on rainfalls for agriculture a lot. Okay. If there's a drought, our agriculture can be wasted. Okay. Next point is deficiency of finance. A lot of farmers, in fact the most of the farmers in India, are deficient of finance, means they do not have enough money to support their farms. Okay. And they go to Mahajans for the finance, and the Mahajans give the loans on very high interest, so the interest is too high to survive for the farmers. Okay. Next point is conventional outlook. Conventional outlook means we are using old technologies, and the conventional outlook also means we are using the subsistence means of farming, means we do not want to get on with the commercial mode of farming. Okay. Next point is small and scattered land holdings, that I have discussed earlier, which is we have small land holdings like small farms where the modern technologies can't be used. Next point is exploitative agrarian relations, means the landlords are doing a lot of exploitation of tenants, means they are charging huge rents to their tenants, which is quite much for the tenants to pay, and they are left with quite less surplus. Okay. Next point is lack of organized marketing system. This is very important because the agricultural product that a farmer produces has no marketing system or very bad marketing system in India. Their products are not properly marketed like big companies' product. If their products are properly can be marketed, then their products can be sold at very good prices. Okay. So these are the basic problems, and there are a lot of reforms that have been done by our government. So we'll see it in our next video. Thank you.